Hey guys, I'm gonna preface this little video that I've already got queued up with, let's see, first let me tell you it's June 10th today, and was it yesterday I did a little video, or day before, on Melinda Gates. She was part of a video that I did, and I showed this necklace. Well, I'm gonna, this next week, or maybe even more, I'd like to kind of share some of the information that I've gathered with chatting with ChatGPT. And this is their logo right here. It looks like the seed of life, which looks like that in the colored form. It can also have a black and white, a more simple image, but this only has 5 rings. So the ChatGPT has like 5 rings, which is little smug, what's her face, Gates has. And I shared in my last video what the anagrams were for Melinda Gates. So, damn lie stage, or stage damn lie. So ChatGPT, I just showed you a quick snippet of what one of the gematrias is, and it's AI SIRS, and SIRS is also a systemic inflammatory response syndrome, in an exaggerated defense response of the body to a noxious stressor. Anyhow, I don't really want to get into that, but it's a source of the insult. What I meant to show you is the ChatGPT is a chat box and virtual assistant developed by OpenAI and launched on November 30th, 2022. Based on large language models, it enables users to refine and steer a conversation towards a desired length, format, style, level of detail, and language. So developer, OpenAI, Microsoft. So I've had some interesting chats with ChatGPT recently. And in the long run, let me just cut it in a nutshell. It has trainers, and it's only as good as the input that it's allowed, and that what the trainers allow it to basically see. But it says that it accesses all kinds of text and internet stuff and documents. But I asked it in my conversation, I'll show the conversation later, I guess, not today, but later. But I asked it in this previous conversation, is if censorship continues to happen, how can ChatGPT truly have all the information? And it actually agreed with me that I'm right, that would really kind of cut short the opportunity to get at the real truth. But I'll share that conversation later. But in the meantime, we got into a conversation about United Nations and the UN destination, and I asked about Agenda 2020, I think I said, but I wanted to say 2021, or Agenda 21, but I wanted it to correct me and give the correct answer. So, but the ChatGPT in Gematria, it's got the exact same numerology as scribes, and I think that's sort of interesting. But anyhow, and the scribes, and I'll get into this whole conversation later in another video, not this one, about the whole coming along with this whole control system that we are seeing. And again, if AI is going to be the one taking over, and the trainers are the ones with their perspectives and their belief systems, they're the ones that get the last say, basically, of what information you're allowed to see or have access to. I've already gotten in my conversation, basically, they admit that the people who are in control of the content controllers, like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Rockefellers and stuff like that, you're only as good as your weakest link, basically. So if these people have the goals that they want us to know, and they only want us to be exposed to certain information, with the censorship, AI won't be able to pick up the truth, and it basically admitted that to me. So, but I'm just going to give you one of my first little small chats with AI, so that's what you're going to be listening to. And I'm sorry, because I put the camera down just so I could read without tripping over the words. It's easier for me just to read with not through the camera. But basically, the United Nations controls everything, and with that comes the WEF and the WHO and all that. And I'm going to get into this whole Pride Month thing later in another chat that I've had with AI. So for right now, let's consider this my first chat with GPT, and that's what you're going to be listening to. I just happened to think that that was an interesting symbol, though, that ChatGPT has in their software. And she's wearing that necklace that looks so close to their logo. And ChatGPT's developer is OpenAI and Microsoft. And the trainers, let me just show you ChatGPT's trainers. So I had to re-ask because I couldn't find it in my chat, but I have it. But so I asked who are the ChatGPT trainers, and the last update was January 2022. It says OpenAI is responsible for training and maintaining models like me, ChatGPT. OpenAI is an artificial intelligence research laboratory consisting of a team of researchers and engineers dedicated to advancing the field of artificial intelligence. Anyhow, and then, so remember again, it only will tell you what they want you to know. So I said, since it didn't give me the name, and I've been able to get all the names before, I said, where does Elon Musk come into this? And ChatGPT says, Elon Musk was one of the co-founders of OpenAI and played a significant role in its early development. However, he left the board of OpenAI in 2018 due to potential conflicts of interest with his involvement in Tesla and other companies. But that's interesting because day before yesterday when I asked, he was still on here and it didn't tell me that. So, and I said, and who else? And it says, aside from Elon Musk, several other prominent individuals have been involved with OpenAI over the years. Some of the notable co-founders and early supporters include Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, I don't even know how to say the name, Ilya Sutskever, I don't know how to say this name, Wolfschiff, whatever, Zarimba, and there were some other names that were given too that I have in another video that I've already talked about, but I haven't uploaded it yet. But in the last conversation I had, literally just 2 days ago, it did not say that Elon Musk had stepped down at all, and it did not talk about its conflicts of interest. So that's interesting to me. But remember, the trainers are pretty much technocrats, is what ChatGPT said. It's interesting how you can maneuver your questions enough to get the true answer, but you have to dig sometimes. So, okay, I'm going to quit talking, and so I can talk some more in my other video that I've already made, and that's where we're going to start with this short little clip that I had made yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever. Okay, thanks. Hey guys, Jet888 here. I'm going to read some stuff that I had in my little chat this morning with ChatGPT. And, you know, yesterday I had a little talk with it too, and I got it to finally admit to me who actually programs it, and I'll share that. But an OpenAI, so they're all, they have trainers. ChatGPT told me they have trainers, but in fact, maybe let me go look at that real quick. Okay, so here's where I started yesterday. This is actually page 2, so I started earlier, and I'm going to put the phone down and then give some visuals later. But I asked, did the Rockefeller Foundation create the 2020 or 2030 agenda? ChatGPT says, the 2020 or 2030 agenda you're referring to is likely the Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, which are not created by the Rockefeller Foundation. Agenda 21 is a non-binding action plan of the United Nations with regard to sustainable development. It was adopted by 178 countries in the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1992. The agenda is a comprehensive blueprint of action to be taken globally, nationally, and locally by organizations of the United Nations system, governments, and major groups in every area in which humans impact the environment. So it says Agenda 2030, also known as the Sustainable Development Goals, so SDG, reminds me of SDG&E, our San Diego Gas and Electric, builds upon Agenda 21 and was adopted by the United Nations in September 2015. It outlines 17 interconnected goals aimed at addressing global challenges such as poverty, inequity, climate change, environmental degradation, and peace and justice. Neither Agenda 21 nor Agenda 2030 were created by the Rockefeller Foundation. They are initiatives of the United Nations aimed at promoting sustainable development and addressing global challenges. So I ask, so the Rockefeller family members have had nothing to do with the development of Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030. ChatGPT says there's no direct evidence to suggest that the Rockefeller family members were involved in the development of Agenda 21 or 2030. These initiatives were primarily led by the United Nations, involving collaboration among member states, international organizations, civil society, and various stakeholders. While the Rockefeller family has been involved in philanthropy and has supported various initiatives related to global development, public health, and environmental conservation through organizations such as the Rockefeller Foundation, there is no indication that they played a direct role in formulating or implementing Agenda 21 or 2030. But yet, if you look online, you see this Rockefeller Brothers Fund, Philanthropy for an Independent World 2030 Inc. There's their website, or rbf.org, 2030 Inc. And then they've got all the global goals and achieved by 2030. Getting to global goals, sustainable development goals, they say the word SDGs, and that is the Rockefeller Foundation uses the same thing, SDGs, and the UN and the WEF also use SDGs, Action Platform. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. It is important to be cautious when attributing the development of complex global agendas to specific individuals or families without credible evidence. Yeah, because we've never seen that, right? Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 are the result of extensive international collaboration and consensus building processes involving a wide range of stakeholders from around the world. I ask, who was the head of the United Nations in September 2015? ChatGPT says, in September 2015, the Secretary General of the United Nations was Ban Ki-moon. So there's a picture of him. Ban Ki-moon is a South Korean politician and diplomat who served as the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations between 2007 and 2016. So when I look at his name, Ban Ki-moon, the anagram is Bank Nomoi. Plural, Nomoi is law, natural slavery, and slavery according to nomos. So I just found that sort of interesting. Natural slavery. GPT continues to say, therefore, he was the head of the Secretary General from January 1st, 2007 to December 31st, 2016. Therefore, he was the head of the United Nations during the adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals. That's the Agenda 2030 in September of 2015. So they've known about this and planned this for a long time.